Hi guys, I'm Kirby Kistler. I'm from Abington, Pennsylvania, and I marched in the Abington Color Guard, Field of View, World, Cadets Winter Percussion. I also marched in the Crossman and Carolina Crown, and for a little bit at the Bushwhackers too. So I'm very excited to go inside the shot with Chris Maher.
Hey everybody, it's Chris Maher here. I'm so excited to have Kirby Kistler here with me to look at some of her photos. I've been taking Kirby's photos since she was in high school with Abington. She was a very dynamic presence on the floor from day one, and just watching her grow up through the activity, and particularly her years in drum corps and seeing her on the field has been great. And she's always a friendly face when she's in a stadium and walking past the sidelines and sees me. Is always get a nice greeting from Kirby. So I'm very excited to chat with her and look at her photos, and let's go inside the shop. So here we go. This is high school. I'm not sure what year it was, your maybe sophomore year, junior year, something like that. But maybe you could talk a little bit about the program at Abington and how that prepared you for from where where you've gone since then.
Sure. Yeah, so that was actually my freshman year, which is why I wanted to choose that. It was actually my second year in the indoor color guard because I had the pleasure of doing it in 8th grade as well. So that was my freshman year. A very humble beginning for me in my marching career. My first year on weapon, my first year with a flag solo, and from there, I feel the Abington Color Guard really grew for the remaining 4 years that I had there until I graduated. And I was really, really blessed to have staff who had marched in independent groups beforehand. One huge inspiration for me to march Crossman taught me in my freshman year at Abington, and that was Leanne Fields, and also Carrie Winters Satco, who marched Crossman as well. And then Amanda Clark was my color guard director at Abington High School, and she was the saber tech at Field of View for a really long time. So I kind of had a chance to get an early start with some technique that I would use down the road, and also have those kind of historical and emotional connections through the people that taught me.
Mm-hmm. That program at Abington really has just grown, and the whole time you were there, and it has continued to grow. There's really some dynamic program year after year there. So that's great. It was a great start for you. All right, let's take a look at the next photo. All right, so that's Field of View 2014. That rifle in the circle thing, I want to hear about what that was like to work with.
Heavy. Those things were really, really heavy. Actually, I think my face in that photo really captures, how much you could perform past that piece of equipment, but how internally you felt a little bit of pain when it hit your hands. So yeah, I actually have loved that photo ever since you first posted it after the weekend that it was captured. Because I just love, I think I had some of my students in one of the front sections that we were performing at that show. So I was kind of performing to them and making goofy faces, and thought it was great that you captured that moment. But working with that piece of equipment was definitely a challenge. But one that I think prepared me for a lot of other really cool prop work and, weight challenges and balance challenges for things that I worked with down the road too. So.
Okay. All right. So that was your year in Carolina Crown, 2015. Just such a wild show. The colors, there's so much red, and the all of the effects that were going on. Talk a little bit about what it was like to compete at that level in this activity.
So that was a huge dream come true for me. I think my first drum corps show that I ever saw was saw live and decided I wanted to march drum corps was The Grass Is Always Greener. And Carolina Crown was always my dream corps. And I had marched the previous summer, actually 3 previous summers at Crossman by that point. And the year before, we finished in 12th place in finals. And so in 2014, I performed first at finals. And in 2015, I performed last in the first place spot. So it was such a huge advancement for me in terms of having learned from Crown staff, who I still look up to so much at Crossman, and then actually being part of the program after that many years. And especially in a year like that, where we had so many young but incredibly talented members and such an incredible staff that was so innovative and envisioned such amazing, like you said, effects and just emotional moments. And it was so much fun to perform that program. And I'm still so proud that I got to be a part of it.
That was a great time, and it was such a fun show to shoot. And I didn't know going into the season that you were going to be on the field there. So the first time I caught you, in the camera, I was like, "Wow, Kirby's out there! This is so exciting!" So I'm glad that you had that experience.
Yeah, it was fun to see you on the road that year too.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at the next photo. Very good, and let's take a look at the final shot. All right, so that was the year you were with the Drumline as the feature guard performer. I remember that was at Springford High School. You came and performed for semifinals, and I remember running into you in the hallway as you were coming in and being just shocked to see that you were all in costume and ready to perform. So that was must have been an interesting experience to hang around all those drummers for that amount of time.
Yeah, I remember that day too, and seeing you in the hallway. So yeah, that year is so incredibly special to me. I ended up marching at Cadets Winter Percussion that year. That was 2016, immediately after my summer at Crown. So the staff who brought me on was the drum staff at Crown the year that I marched there, and a lot of the drummers who had started in Cadets 2 with those same staff ended up marching that winter season too. So I remember I could not wait to tell them that we'd be marching together again. It was so special. And the 5 visual ensemble dancers and the drum line got super close. And I actually still talk to a lot of those same people every day to this day. So,
can you tell us a little bit about the role that the guard members played in that show?
Yeah, so the theme of the show was that the robots kind of powered down for the night and in their dreams experienced, one of the most simple and relatable emotions that humans have, and that's love. So we played the role of kind of awakening into this dream state, and another dancer and I ended up having a duet during the ballad piece, and kind of representing that love, that awakening. And then the closer was a really intense piece where we kind of were getting dragged back to having to power on again, and getting dragged out of the dream state. So we kind of helped create that intensity, and using the green elastic bands that we had, if you've seen that show, we kind of used them to physically pull the drummers back into their normal state and out of that dream.
Okay. Very good. Very good. So what are you doing in the activity these days? I'm assuming you're teaching somewhere.
Yes, thankfully, I'm very, very pleased to still have the opportunity to be teaching in, our current environment and continuing on all of the legacies that my staff before me and my students are keeping going. So I'm currently teaching United Percussion. So I'm staying in the percussion world a little bit. Our season's entirely virtual right now, and we're collaborating with an artist from the West Coast on some original music, which is really exciting. So we've been doing visual blocks on Zoom, and I'm hoping to rejoin the Black Watch, one of our in-person rehearsals in the next couple of weeks. And then in the summers, I've been teaching the Bushwhackers Drum and Bugle Corps for DCA, and actually got to fill a spot for them for a couple weeks last summer. So you actually got some pretty awesome action shots from last summer of me too. So definitely happy to still be in the game.
Well, that's great. Yeah, I remember seeing you at the United Percussion on March 14th on the final day of the season, and I was so pleased to be able to be there and spend the afternoon with them photographing them, and was excited to see you there helping out. So
I really would love to take this opportunity, Chris, to thank you for all the excitement that you create for the performers, to look forward to seeing their pictures on Facebook and wherever else, the weekend after the shows. And even though the season's going to look a little different this year, I'm sure they all really, really appreciate you coming to their rehearsals and their smaller events. And I just want to say thank you for all that you do in our little corner of the activity.
That sounds like a rap.